All right, Hillary, thank you very much. Joining me right now, former NYPD Commissioner Bernie Kerik and former member of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, Steve Rogers. Good to see you both. You know, Steve, we have heard that there were some cameras that he had positioned throughout the room, little like baby cameras, where basically you could broadcast this stuff out. And there's some speculation that perhaps he might have been broadcasting to another individual or to another group. Any thoughts? And again, we don't know a whole lot here, and I would preface all of this with that in mind. But any thoughts on what the baby cameras might have been?
Well, it goes back to what you just said. There's not a lot of evidence to indicate that this operation was executed by a number of people. Those cameras were probably there for what you just said. Maybe, just maybe, they were being broadcasted somewhere. But let's get back to what we know, if you don't mind, Trish. The sheriff mentioned that he believes that there may have been other people involved in this. Now, the sheriff, I'm sure, is focusing in on the planning and not the execution of this. This was a very sophisticated operation that was executed, and it is hard-pressed to believe that no one else was involved in the planning of this. So I believe that that's what law enforcement is focusing on now. Now, if those cameras certainly were being transmitted somewhere else, you could be sure that somewhere along the line there's an electronic footprint somewhere that the police are going to be looking for.
Bernie Kerik, when they say that he may have had help, I mean, when you look at what happened and you assess this from your vantage point, what kind of help would you need?
Well, listen, to acquire that many weapons, to stockpile that much ammunition, to move that type of material from his residence to the hotels, his prior reservations at other locations. This is something, you know, people have said over the last few days they think this guy snapped and just lost his mind. This was a very strategic, very premeditated plan that probably dates back at least, I don't know, from what I'm seeing now, 4 to 6 months. And I'm speculating, but it's really based on what we're getting from the local police reports, from some of the press. But you can't tell me that this happened, this just happened in the last 5 or 6 days. This guy's been planning this thing, or a number of attacks, for the last 4 to 6 months, well, at least.
Certainly. I mean, to be able to gain that much weaponry, it takes time to do that. Steve, where do authorities go with Mary Lou Danley? So she has just come back from overseas. She's said she had no idea that he would be headed down this path, and he never suggested or showed any kind of signs of this. What do they need? They spoke to her 6 hours yesterday. What more do they need to start asking her? And how much of a key does she hold to this puzzle?
Well, I believe she has. This is my personal belief. We always in law enforcement know that somebody knows something. If she doesn't personally know something, she may know someone who does. So law enforcement interviewed her for quite a period of time. I believe that they did get some information from her, and that information could be as simple as some of this individual's associates, friends, family members. Some way, somehow, she could have led them to someone else to give information. But you could be sure that they're not through with her yet, because if what she said to them leads them somewhere else, that somewhere else may lead the authorities right back to her.
Wow. How long do you think this will take, Bernie?
It's going to be a long time. Look, we're 5 days out now, 4 or 5 days out, and they have absolutely nothing. They have no motive. It's going to be a while.
Or maybe they're just not telling us.
Bottom of us. Well, that could be, but you know, there's a lot that would have come out of this already had it been there, and it's just not there as of yet.
All right. Well, we'll wait to see whether Sarah Huckabee Sanders can shed any more light on it. Bernie, Steve, good to see you guys again as we wait.